Well, good evening and welcome everybody to another Full Sail University online class. My name is Steve Kane, and once again I am here with the Audio Workstations class as we are opening up the month of September. We've got our week 1, lecture 1, a few days late. Thank you, Hurricane Dorian, for that. But nonetheless, it is Thursday, September the 5th, a handful of minutes after 5 o'clock. I got a big old room ready to rock and roll. I want to thank Blake, Brittany, Connor, Garrett, Greg, Haley, Hector, Jeffrey, John, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, Lewis, Markeisha, Omar, Randy, Sherwin, Sonata, and Troy. Thank you all for being here as we get ready to knock out our Pro Tools Assignment 1 tonight. Y'all get those seat belts buckled. Keep your hands and legs inside this vehicle at all times. And let's get this party started. Well, as soon as the trumpet player runs out of breath. All right. Well, excellent. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Again, my name is Steve Kane, and I am glad that you are here with the Audio Workstations class tonight. It's going to be a fun month, as you might already imagine. As I like to have a little fun with the class, we're going to be doing some fun things every month. I wanted to take a minute and kind of explain some things to you, tell you what to expect. But first off, you know what about expectations. Let me show you a bit about your class. Let me take a quick poll. How many people have actually watched these videos? Yeah, give me yes or no. I'm not going to be mad or anything. I just kind of want to know what to explain tonight and what I can breeze through a little bit. All right. Brittany was first with, no, wait a minute. There's more coming in. Sonata was yes first, and then John and Greg for the show followed. Man, if I put everybody that was answering, it would take me another 20 minutes. But thank you for your interaction. This is a highly interactive class. This is no elf on a shelf kind of class. I'm going to be asking you questions all month long, asking you to type responses. So keep those keyboards close. Am I lying? No, I'm not asking you to say if you've been in the class before. Randy says, the iCloud desktop gave me a headache for a while. And did you take 2 and call me in the morning, or did you call our FSO support? You know? Yeah. So, yeah, make sure that you get these videos first. If you're watching me on the archive, stop the archive and go watch these first. They're only a handful of minutes, and then come back to the archive. If you have not and you are watching me live, do not log out. Stay here. There's going to be some great jokes later on. I promise you that much. You never know what's going to happen when you got a little DAW in front of yourselves. So, but let's talk about some expectations of the class. Weeks are very nicely explained in these videos and such. So I just kind of want to jump through here and say, watch these, right? And then if you're having problems getting your stuff going on, make sure you've watched the videos before you ask for help, because they're going to ask you, have you watched the videos? All right, now, secondly, I just wanted to quickly say all your course resources, books, and archives are going to be here. So if you are not in the live lecture, and if you are in the live lecture, because obviously you wouldn't be hearing it right now if you weren't, later on I'm going to post these under the class archives. And every time I post a new lecture, there's going to be a new video, and you're going to have to click up and hear to get the previous ones going on. These usually take a handful of hours after we're done, and then you'll see that section populated. So that's what all the archives are about. Now, books for the course are explained in that there. It's kind of like a little magical kind of Finding Zelda or something. They only open one way. So make sure that you open it the correct way, or they are not going to open, and you're going to send me a book that or an email that says, "Oh, the books won't open, man." And I'm going to say, reread the instructions and watch the video. All month long, we're going to be doing a remix, and those project guidelines are right here. We're going to be hitting that all month. This will explain the certification opportunity that you have at the end of the month if your GPA is high enough. And then, as I said, these are where all of our videos are. Now, that's kind of what the class resources, books, and archives are about this course. If you're not already feeling warm and fuzzy, that will make you feel warmer and fuzzier. All right, so let's get back here. So when you're looking at week 1, or as my French friends say, or something like that, you've got a few more things than you do on the normal weeks. Every normal week you are going to have a lecture 1 that is going to go over a Pro Tools assignment. This is meant to be very, very objective, no creativity at all, teaching you how to do things, all right? And then you apply that the next day in a lecture 2 in your remix, where you apply the things that you've learned before and some new things in a very creative way. Like, now I don't care what you copy and paste. Here, in the Pro Tools assignment, I care very much what you copy and paste. Now, every week, as we go through this month-long project, you're going to have a milestone to turn in every week, which is basically a PDF with a handful of screenshots that you've taken, so we can look at it and say, oh, cool. We can do that. And then you turn that in for a grade. And this week alone, you're going to be able to pick a song. Every week you'll have your discussion. Every week you'll have some reading. And every week you'll have a test. I would like you to do this open book. I would like you to answer everything as much as you can, and then go back and look up your answers afterwards. And that way you make the most out of your 1 hour. If you looked up everything right from the start, you will not have enough time. So please heed that. Jeremy says, is it possible to access books on iPad or iPhone? Jeremy, I don't believe it is possible right now. But we are working on that technology. We think we have the power. We think we have the technology. We just think we lack the license. All right. So, yes, please make sure you take these books open book, but make sure that you go through everything first as much as you can and only look up the ones that you need to. Otherwise, I think you might run out of time. All right, so, boom, let's see. Let's talk about some expectations. John was wondering, I was wondering if the test was open book. Thanks for clarifying. That was John. And yes, you're welcome. And I've now clarified that. Let's see. So what are we going to do? Let's talk about expectations, because expectations are what gets you in trouble, right? It's because if we don't talk about these from day one, and like later on at the end of the class, you're like, Steve, how come you never like talked about like automation and stuff? It's going to be like, well, you know, I'm not going to talk about the automation modes because I'm going to really do that in like advanced workstations. And then if you knew I wasn't even going to talk about it, then you wouldn't have been upset. So let me ask you real quick, do you have any expectations about this class? Or about me? About life? No, I'm kidding. Now is the time to ask them. Basically, what I tell everybody is no matter what kind of user you are, I want you to be a better user at the end of 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Right? If you're a beginner, give me a B. Give me a capital B if you're a beginner on Pro Tools. Give me either a number and a Y or a number and an M for a number of years or a number of months. If I can get a little thank you, John Blake, Louis Omar, Troy, Ashley, thank you, Haley Garrett, good, Connor, Hector, thank you, Randy, Shay's writing me a novel, Sherman, Shay, Brittany, Greg. All right, let's go back to Shay. Shay says, my expectations are that we are going to learn the basics of Pro Tools and maybe some intermediate and advanced tips. Shay. Can I call you that? That's exactly what we're here. Heck yeah. Not only a yeah. Heck yeah. We're going to learn the basics, and I'll give you some little intermittent and advanced tips. Matter of fact, one of them is going to be save often. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit save because check it out. I haven't hit save, and I can tell because it's not grayed out since I made all these live tracks, because occasionally I need to throw a little delay around like this and get everybody's attention. And I didn't save after I did that, so I'm going to do a save now. That's an intermediate tip. Some people think that's an advanced tip, you know what I mean? But yeah, we're totally going to do that. I'm going to show you some quick keys and all that. Sherwin, thank you, and let's see, Shay and Brittany and Greg. So even it looks like we've got some very, very, very broad ranges of use, everything from beginners to multiple years, and I love that. I expect you to be better in 4 months. All right? So what that means is Greg's daughter is chuckling in the background. Wait till she hears this. What do you call a fish with no eyes? Just fish. But even if you've been using it for multiple years, right? You should be using it better, because I should be able to teach you something to make you at least a little bit better, right? Brittany says that I've got a dislike for Pro Tools, so maybe this can change that. She thinks like I'm the Pro Tools prophecy man or something like that. We'll go around and like, forever now you should now like Pro Tools and not talk about how easy things were in Logic. We're going to have fun with it, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Connor is saying, how do I add... Hold on, wait a minute. No, he's saying, how do I add MIDI controllers to Pro Tools? Question for later. Yes, that is a question for later, Connor. Thank you. Brittany is laughing out loud. Sonata, Pro Tools is stressful. Sonata, give me an amen if it's about putting in the time. I tell everybody that it is kind of like it's like you ran out of gas, right? And what is the safest way to get your car running back? You have to walk your butt all the way to the gas station and back. I'm sorry, there were kids in the room. Can I say butt with your kid in the room? Right? So, but that is the safest way. Can you hold out your hand and hitchhike? Yes. Right? Can somebody might pick you up and axe murder you or something? Yes. Right? So the safest way to do well in this class is like running out of gas. You just have to do the time and walk, right? Or crawl or whatever you want to do, right? But if you spend the time, so now people are begging. I've got 21 people in the room, 21 pilots, baby. How many people are going like, how much time is this fool expecting us to spend on Pro Tools a week? Are you wanting to know? Are you wanting to know? Somebody's saying hours, but we got to quantify that, right? I mean, my wife and I have a huge difference when I say it's going to take minutes. right? She thought taking off these hurricane shutters were going to be like 15-minute job, right? And 3 hours later, we're taking the hurricane shutters off. Ah, the struggle is real, isn't it? All right. So here's what I'm saying: about 15 a week. Mike's got it right on there. About 15 a week. And if I had to break it down, I would say, well, you've got at least two of listening to this lecture, two listening to it again, and you'll figure out why in a little bit. Two of listening to the next one, two of listening to that one again. So that is already 8 hours of just listening to the lectures. Right now, I do feel that if you do it right, that you could probably get your project done while you're watching the first lecture the second time, right? If you do what I say. So that's 8 hours. So and then I expect at least 2 hours on your remix every week. There's a good 10 hours. I expect 2 hours of reading. You got so now we're up to 12, an hour test, and then some time to just do extra stuff and just work this stuff. So 15 hours a week is about 3 hours, 5 days a week, if that's the way you want to look at it. But I would honestly say that the best thing to do is make a schedule. Know that when you're going to work. Let your folks know. Let your friends know, like, hey, this is when I am busy. Do not bug me. And because, right, guess what? Positive distractions are still distractions, aren't they? All right, not meaning to preach at all, but you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I expect. If you said, Steve, what do you think it's going to take for me to make an A in your class? I'm going to say book out 15 hours at least for me a week. And then promise me that here's one of my expectations of doing well. I do not want you to try to follow along with me in Pro Tools while I'm doing it. I'm too darn fast for you to keep up with. All right? Sorry, just me being honest. Right? What I expect you to do is watch me and laugh at my jokes. Right? Like what did the fish say when he swam into the wall? Damn. Oh, man. That was an awful joke. Yeah. They used to be called bad jokes, and now I guess they're dad jokes for some reason. I guess they've become apparent. Sorry, back to the serious train. 15 hours a week. Did he say 15 hours a week? He said 15 hours a week. Holy moly. But if you do that, you can do it. All right? So just book it out, give me the time, and you can do it. You can get better, and you can knock this thing. You can surprise yourself at how well you can do if you give me the time. Now, so I do not expect you to follow along with me during the first time you watch the lecture. So if you're watching it live, do not have Pro Tools open. Just have me on the screen. If you are watching the archive for the first time, do not have Pro Tools open. Just watch the archive for the first time. Then so here's what so at the end of that, here's what I expect. I do not expect you to fully understand it just by watching it once. That would be silly, right? But what I do expect is that everything that I have done has made sense to you. All right? Give me an MS if everything that I do, if that expectation, it should make sense to you of while I'm doing. I better see my chat room light up. I got 21 people in the room, and that thing, Connor's in the first, and followed by John and Hector. Very good. All right, very good, very good. Thank you. Everybody, come on. Keep it on. That's not 21 yet. I'm counting. All right, now check it out. Here's what I do, though. Get ready. Keep those fingers hot on the keyboards. Here's what I do expect. If it is not making sense the first time that you are watching it live with me, or you're watching the archive, I expect you to reach out with a question, right? Give me a quick question mark if you understand that, right? That you're going to ask me a question if I'm doing something in this live room and John's going like, well, I don't quite really understand why he did that thing. I better ask him a question. John's going to put up a question mark to let me know that he's got a question coming up. All right. Now, what I do, because I kind of get into teaching a little bit, is I might not see it for a minute. So don't just go all ape notes, ape crazy, nuts like crazy, not like anatomy. So don't go all ape saying he didn't get my question, right? I'm gonna say, hey, we're gonna pause for the cause, let's take some questions, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's kind of revamp that then. So first time watching it, do not follow along. Everything needs to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you're going to ask me a question, or you're going to reach out to your instructor and say, hey, in the video I was watching, in about 1 hour and 22 minutes, Steve is doing this thing with cut and copy, and I'm not sure why he's doing it. Can you explain that a little bit more to me if I'm not your teacher or section leader, right? So then that way, the second time you watch it, I expect you to watch it a second time and have Pro Tools open. And on like the lecture ones of the week, have your project open, because you can do it along with me. And you can watch along, because occasionally I'm going to jump down and explain some things that we're going to call, I don't know, I'll call them something like teaching tunnels. Because jumping down the rabbit hole has just gotten way too cliche, you know what I mean? So, you're not going to want to jump down those teaching tunnels with me, so that's why I want you to watch along. And then, so as we're doing it, you just go in the second time, you go along, and then you pause the video when I do something, right? And then you hop over to Pro Tools, and you try it. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. And you have a little party, and you call your mom or your grandma or whatever, and you rock out, right? Because it's making sense. That's when I expect it to really, for you to really understand it, is after the second and maybe even third time of watching the video, pausing as I do things, going over to Pro Tools, trying it, and then moving along. If it doesn't work, you rewind the video, see if there's a little silly step you missed, and then you try it, right? So give me a capital V if you understand how to watch the videos for what I'm doing, because I want you to at least watch them twice. One time just to watch them and laugh at my jokes and make sure everything makes sense, and then the second time to work on your assignments. Okay? Good. I'm loving my interaction. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. You know what? I'll just tell you about one of the things I saw in the news. Is they've got damning evidence that beavers' houses cause floods. It's all over the news because of this whole hurricane things. Matter of fact, I'm kind of getting a little paranoid hearing all about these Cat 4s and Cat 5s. Yeah. Now, cat puns are starting to freak me out. I'm not kidding. She's like, a beaver dam? For real? Right, meow, that's right. So, I've heard that this is a mono transmission with stereo playback, meaning when you listen to the archives, you might get it in both speakers, and as you listen live, you might only get it once. But I usually thought you would still hear it in both speakers, so maybe if you're having trouble hearing it, try clicking your headphones in or out, making sure both things are done there. Yeah, matter of fact, they were talking about the river, because I live near the Econ River here, and they said, well, too much water coming from the river, and I was like, well, damn it. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, damn it, damn the river, and then won't be so. So all these damn jokes, right? And there's kids in the room. Sorry about that, but I promise that's as worse as it's going to get. All right, that's as bad as it's going to get. All right, we're just going to talk about those damn people that work at that dam. All right. No. All right. So expectations, I think we're good. Let's see. And then lastly, let me go around expectations. I said no matter what's your skill level, I want you to learn something. I want everything to make sense the first time you watch it, or you're going to ask a question. Let's see. And then I expect you to understand it after you do it a time or two after the second time. And then let's see what else. And then lastly, you know what? I expect us to have a good time. You know, learning is it is a journey and not a destination, and you're going to learn something every little class. So one of the things I tell people in a morbid way, if you can tell me that you can't promise me 100% that you're not going to be in a car accident tomorrow, unless you never drive a car or ride in a car, then you can't tell me that you might learn something. So this is definitely not the lecture to start making sandwiches and having family dinners like, oh, well, that's Steve. He's our family entertainment. We've got all these cool little effects that he does from time to time. And we get to... No, you're going to get peanut butter all over your keyboards and stuff. Because I'm going to be asking you to type. That's right. Now, with that being said, so we are going to go back over here. And so you're in Lecture 1. So that means you're in Pro Tools Assignment 1. That's what we're going to work on tonight. On this very night, we're about to hear, I swear, the best Pro Tools lecture of the year. So now, when you look at this one, I'm not going to read it to you, but it says the Pro Tools Overview Live Class. I'm kidding. I'm not going to read it to you, but I like to go over this and talk to you about it. Now, we give you all the proper accoutrements right here in la zip file, as my French friends say. And so I've downloaded la zip file onto la hard drive, and when I look at it, and that's just by the way French for the hard drive, I made a documents folder. I made my online courses. I made my 1909 because you're in the 9th month, and I got my week 1 right there, my Pro Tools zip file. And I unzipped it, and that is what gave me what we in the industry call a session folder. Right? And the session folder gives you all of these other session elements automatically, except for this audio files for import. This was specially provided by Full Sail University. Hold on, wait a minute. Would that sound better with the delay? That was specially provided by Full Sail University. Now, sometimes the delay is just a little too much. But all these other ones, the audio files, bounce clips, and look, when I did a save as, it gave me another one. Save as, I'll do another one here in a minute. Video files, wave cache, that just draws the squigglies. It draws the squigglies. All these are automatically generated when you start a new session. The automatic organization, you like that? The AO is what I call the automatic organization. It gives you a Pro Tools session folder, and it gives you a session file. The .ptx is what I'm talking about, baby. Pro Tools extension. I don't know if it stands for extension. It might stand for xylophone. I don't know. Pro Tools xylophone. It used to be PTF, and it was Pro Tools file. But now it's PTX. Maybe it's just Pro Tools freaking unknown. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what you do when you see a spaceman? You park in it, man. All right, so when you start a new one, now let's talk about real quick. We talked about save, so I got to do a save again because it's grade. It's not grade. If it's grade, it means everything's locked in. If I did something weird, like I just clicked and it was like, hey, you did something weird, like clicked, I can save it again. All right, but now, when I do something intentionally cool or different, I'm going to do a save as, right? Some people call it a savaz, right? And when I do a savaz, it prompts me to name it a different one like this. Yeah. See, see, you see, I'll take that one. You see. And when I do that, check it out. I'm holding down the command button, and I'm hitting tab. And every time I hit tab, it goes here. So I'll go back to my Finder, and check it out. Now I got this one, you see. And so it gives me duplicate. So in the real world, what I do, like if I were to look at my sessions right here, right here, right? I got my freaking session right, freaking staying a freaking live, right? Look at all these flipping things that I got right here. Look at these. Look at these. Right? So in one session folder, I've got, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to count them like somebody's knocked out. But sorry, that's what happens when the WWE, actually, I guess they don't really, I guess they count you out of the ring. But, yeah, so you got lots of, or like, I might name them different days. Like, I'm working on this one on day 1. Here's my second day. Here's my third day. And then if I'm doing something, whatever. So I do a lot of save as's. I tell people that sometimes a save as will save your as. I see save as. See, that's still a kid's joke. That's still a kid's joke because I just said as. Right? Okay. Just making sure. Said we got kids in the room. We're keeping it clean. All right. So let's do this. Let's pause for the cause and give me an SO if you are down with session organization, or if you need to give me a question mark if you want to ask me a question about session organization. I'm going to scroll up for a minute because I did see some. Oh, gosh, now I got all these SOs coming in. I did see somebody type me in a question that says, when I do a save as, should it be in the same folder? All right, so Greg, check it out, buddy. Man, it prompts you to automatically do it in the same folder. So if you want to be a bonehead and screw things up, go ahead and change it. But look at it. It's going ahead and putting it right there in that there folder right there, You see right there, Get it? Yeah. So, now, do not change the way this automatically organizes it, right? So it does it. So what I think you should do is kind of something similar of like, go to the documents folder and then maybe make audio workstations class, right? And then have your different weeks, right? And then every week you're going to have, let's jump down here. Every week you're going to have a Pro Tools assignment and a remix milestone, right? And you're pretty much going to have that. And then week 3 you're going to have a little something different, something different, right? So maybe that's a way you can do it. Now, when you start new sessions, Brittany, they're going to organize it automatically where the session folder generates all those other things, and then you can put it where you want. But I really wouldn't mess with after you decide where you want your session folder. I wouldn't screw around with the contents within the session folder. All right, so I know you wrote "okay, cool" before I stopped explaining, but I was like, I kind of felt like I was up on that while I'm here, you might as well do that. Right? So, does all of that make sense after I was doing all that? All right, because look, I want y'all all to be scarecrows. Outstanding in your field. So, all right. So here's what we did. We were down here with week 1, and then we've got some guidelines. You open this up, and this PDF will come up right here. This PDF. And some people are like, well, how come the books don't open up that way? Well, because they just don't. All right. How many people had fun opening up the books? Give me a capital B if the books opened up for you. Give me a lowercase b if you're still fighting with the books. All right, if you're still fighting with the books, Remember, they're only going to open one way. It's kind of like a clue for finding Zelda or something, right? You gotta download them first. You gotta make sure you got Acrobat. You gotta open it with Acrobat, right? So now I'm not going to read. I said I'm not going to read this to you, but it is absolutely essential to. I'm kidding. I'm not going to read it to you. Oh crap! I got to change that because actually, I guess it is Thursday. Look at that. I don't have to change it this week. So every Monday, I'm going to go over the Pro Tools assignment, except in week 4, and that's where we're going to start mixing. And so every week we're going to be doing something. This time we're going to be just doing some basic editing with Pro Tools. We're going to be looking at the tools, the modes, and that kind of stuff. Remember to keep doing a save as, because that way you can keep practicing. You can keep the original intact, and then you never mess up the original. Isn't that good? And then upload it before the deadlines, because late assignments will not be accepted. Oh, look at that. It won't let me hit my delay until I hit cancel. Okay, so let's try that again. Late assignments will not be accepted. Okay. So, do you know why Adele crossed the road? To say hello from the other side. Yep. Yep. All right, so don't turn things in without looking at the rubric. We tell you why we're going to take things off, right? So look at the rubric and you'll see what to do. All right. So we're going to start. We're going to open up the session named Pata 1, Pro Tools Assignment 1. We're going to do a save as, and you're going to name it first name, last name. And don't be a smarty pants and leave it first name, last name. Well, you said leave it first name. I've already got a 14-year-old living in my house. I don't need a second one. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your real first name and your real last name. I tell you what, my 14-year-old sometimes, he's like, well, you told me first name, last name. Oh, man. Anybody want a 14-year-old, by the way? I'm kidding. I love that kid. But that is the silliest way to lose 10 points, I'm telling you right now. All right, and so we're going to open that up, do your save as. I showed you how to do that already. And then we're going to open the tracks list and open the clips list. Now, this alone, right now, I'm going to tell you that this is why you are going to not want to follow along with me. You are going to be like, why in the heck did I do that? Because there's like 4 or 5 different ways to open up the tracks list and the clips list. And you're like, well, what did I do? So don't follow along with me. But if you're interested in like becoming Pro Tools certified, which can add just, I mean, everybody knows that's a hard test, right? Everybody in the industry. So if you go up and it's like, hey man, I haven't really got any clients yet, but I am Pro Tools certified. What you're saying in a humble way is I've studied my butt off, and at least I can work well, at least I know about Pro Tools, right? So let's go look at this. And this is where I say, you know, I want you to be a scarecrow, you know, outstanding in your field. That's called comedy through repetition, you guys. Eventually that joke is going to become funny. We call it a teaching tunnel. Right? As we see how to get the tracks list and the clips list. Now, people say, well, don't the main menus give you a lot of things to do? And yes, you can do everything under the main menus. But that's what I call grandma's way of doing things. Like, you know, if grandma went to go Google something, she'd probably go to google.com first and then type in that, you know. I mean, my grandma doesn't. She's dead. But she loves that I talk about her in lecture. That's called an anti-joke. That's where it's like, that was dark humor, man. See, it comes in both ones. But that's still kid-friendly. I'm still going to go with that's kid-friendly. Because my grandma loved loved me dearly, and I love my grandma dearly too. But no, seriously, I learned about dark humor, about anti jokes from my son. He's like, "Dad, do you do anti jokes in lecture?" And I was like, "What's an anti joke?" And he's like, "Knock knock." And I said, "Who's there?" And he's like, "It's not Grandma." Sorry, that one was just laid out there. I mean, that was that was like a combination punch. Oh my goodness! Thank you for allowing me to laugh like this. All right, so here we are. We're talking about. All right, so the grandma way to do this is go into the view menu. Go into the view menu, right, and other displays. You can look at your tracks list. Kapow! All right, but it doesn't make that grandma kapow sound. You have to do that. Other displays, clips list. Kapow! I mean, not clips effects. Close that. Close that. Close that. All right, sorry. Clips list. Kapow! All right. So that's grandma's way of doing it. Now, grandma's second favorite way of doing it, because remember, grandma likes going to Google first and then Googling the term, right? Grandma's second favorite way is mousing it all the way over here and going into this secret little, because grandma likes to play video games, right? And she liked Mario, right? Look at this tracks list. Watch this. Boom. Oh, bye bye, tracks list. Look at this. Bye bye, clips list. Boom. Now, again, it's not making that sound effect. I'm doing that. So if you're like, it's not making that sound effect, right? That's all on you, man. It's not me. All right, now, the Cool Modi way of doing it, right? Not grandma's way, but check it out. I got my hand, right? Watch my hand. Everybody, all right, let me see. You see my cursor? Let's just change this back to cursor. All right. Cursor. Come on, cursor. See my cursor, right? And if I wiggle my cursor, it gets bigger, right? Does your cursor get bigger if you wiggle it? I don't know if it's an automatic setting or if I did it accidentally, but y'all are laughing. All right, but check it out. Look at this. I'm a cursor, and then right where I'm not a cursor, right here, right? I can double click. Watch this. Ba-boom. And there's my clips list. Now, it didn't make that ba-boom sound. That was me. And watch this over on the other side, because Troy's going, well, I wonder if it does it on the other side. Well, it does, Troy. Watch this. Right here. Not yet. I'm a cursor, and I'm a cursor. Darn it, I'm not a cursor. Get it? Darn it, I'm not a cursor. And then you double click on that, Chicky Wiki, bam, bam. And then it's like that, yo. And so now Hector's thinking there's got to be one more way, right? He's thinking there's got to be another way. With or without sound effects, that's up to you, but check it out. Let's go to the other side of the screen. Watch me, follow me. Going around, getting you dizzy, sorry. That was just an eye trick. Watch this. Look at this little button right down here, right down there. Look at that, that. Boom, that closes it. Somebody's thinking, I wonder if it works on the other side. That's what Shay's wondering, right? Shay, are you wondering that? Look at this one. Look at this button, Shay. Watch this one. Boop. That one. Now, y'all are expecting like a boop or boom or whatever. You can do whatever sound effect you want to. I bet that's what Lewis has got a question. He's going to start typing out a question, so we're going to pause for the cause. But I wonder if Lewis is going to ask, do you have to make that sound effect, or what happens if you make the wrong sound effect? And there's not. He didn't ask that. He says, are there command keys? And, if there were, I would expect them to be on the side. See how they usually do their quick keys over here on the side, Lewis? Is it Lewis or Louis? Tell me one or two. Lewis is one and Louis is two. I figured it was Lewis. But that was just me figuring. Yeah, okay, Lewis. All right, good. Because I was like, Louis Armstrong. All right, but check it out. See how they got quick keys over here? Lewis. So I would think that if they had that, maybe they would, but they don't. But I bet you could program it on your own. Greg is saying, imagine how hard it would be to use Pro Tools if it screamed at you every time you pushed a button. What do you think? Never mind, that was going to be a bad joke. It's like it's my mom, it's not your mom. That's not the key. That's not the key. Piano teachers, right? They hit you on the. All right, so our tracks list and our clips list. Now, I like to think of this as where you put your bread and your meat and your cheeses and stuff, right? So you got your bread over here, right? Because you got to have a place to put your meat and your cheese, right? So your bread is like your track, because I don't go for that. I don't go for that lettuce wrap stuff. It's like, I'm going to eat a sandwich. I'm going to put it on some bread. You know what I'm talking about? So these are all the different places that I can put all my different meats and cheeses over here. My son did start dating a vegetarian, and he asked me, he says, Dad, did you meet her? And I said, no, I haven't met herbivore. And you get it? Herbivore. The jokes are even better when you're explaining them. That's how you know it goes great. So is our little one in the room still? Do they know why the turtle crossed the road? To get to the Shell station. Yep. So now then, so you can't have meats and cheeses and just stick them on the counter, right? You got to stick some bread on here first. Is everybody getting my bread and my meats and cheeses analogy? Give me a capital B if you're down with bread. And bread, tracks are like breads and clips are like meats and cheeses. All right, good. I like food. It's my favorite 4-letter F word, by the way. Free is my second one, just in case you're wondering. All right, so check this out. It said open the tracks list and clips list, and now we learned like 4 different ways to do it. Now from the audio files for import folder, we're going to import a kick, a clap, and a hat, and we're going to put it in the clips list in Pro Tools, and when we're prompted, we're going to choose the clips list, and then we're going to drag them out to their appropriately named tracks. All right, so let's go to this. Under the file menu, that's where you bring everything in and out of Pro Tools. Import things in, export things out, open and close sessions, right? Pretty much give me a capital F if you're down with the file menu, right? Saving, all that kind of stuff, importing, exporting. All right, good. So we are going to import La Audio, as my friends in France say it. Shift Command 1. Who was my quick key moniker earlier? Was it Jean? Or no, it was Greg, wasn't it? G-Reg. Was it G-Reg that was asking about the quick keys? But look at that. Shift Command I. Luis. All right. Lewis, check it out. Here it is. Bam. Shift Command I, right? Now look. So you we go to your navigation, right? So week 1, there's my PTA 1. Awesome. Audio files for import, clap, kick, and hat. Now check this out. Check this out. Notice that right now, when I select one, it says either add or add all. Add all. Add or add all, or copy all. Right? Now check this out. It will always say add, but it will only say copy if your bit depth and sample rate and your file type are all the same. If they are not the same, like let's suppose you looked in my sessions folder, Eye of the Tiger, and you looked at my audio files there, because I recorded at 2441, look, it no longer says copy, it says convert. Convert. I'm here to convert you. And it's going to convert you to the session format, right? So it's going to leave your little 24-bit world behind and convert you to where it is. But if it does not say that and it says just copy, then you can copy. So we're going to go back and see why navigation is so important, that you remember where you save stuff. So we're going to get them all, because what our goal is to get them from this folder that we gave you into the real folder that it makes for you, right? We gave you this folder, and by doing this process, we're going to populate this folder, which is what normally populates when you import audio, right? So we had to obviously deliver them somehow, so this is how we deliver them. So we want them to go here. Don't change that. I'm just telling you that that's where they're going. So we're going to, instead of adding them, because if I added them, they would stay where they were. They would just add to the clips list. I want to copy them to the audio files folder. I hit done. It's boom, bada bing, bada boom. It says, hey, yo, this is where you want it to go. Don't screw it up. Leave it here, right? And then hit open. Bam. And it said earlier to choose the clips list. Now, we'll talk about what these things do in another time, but right now we're just going to send it right over here to clips list. Hit the awk button. And by the way, it is okay to call this the awk button. And it copied them. And look, bada bing, bada boom. And now they are there. They went from there to there, and now they are there. Very good, yeah. Awesome. And now we drag them to the appropriate tracks, and they sound good, yeah. So now we've got our meat and our cheeses, yeah. We got our bread, yeah. We got the kick. And check it out. You can click, right? You can click and drag, right? You can option click. So many choices. All right, check it out. So kick, clap, and hats. Bada bing, bada boom. And now check it out. Here comes who said they wanted to learn intermediate and advanced stuff. Who was it? I forget who it was, but I remember somebody. It's Shay. All right, so check it out. Oh, and Sonata. Check it out. Here it comes. You ready? Check it out. I want to resize these. Here we go. What do we got? 3 fingers down, right? Check it out. Over by the space bar. Now, I'm not talking about the one in Star Trek. I'm talking about or Star Wars, whichever favorite you are, but everybody knows the real thing is Star Wars. But I'm not talking about that space bar. I'm talking about the biggest key on your keyboard, right? And then you look over to the left of it, and you've got Command, Option, and Control. Control! Right? So now, somebody spelled Star Trek wrong. That's funny. We're not going to try to come up with a clever acronym for Control, Option, and Command. We're just going to call it 3 fingers down. Right? So 3 fingers. Control, Option, Command, and then the down arrow. Bam. Right? Did everybody see that? Now, it didn't make the bam. Oh, that's got to be the greatest Star Trek joke I've ever told. Look at this. If I only have one track, 3 fingers down, bam, it makes it. If I've got all my treks, Star Trek, all of them, look, 3 fingers down, bam, it resizes everything. And that, my friend, is too darn cool. Bet nobody ever misspelled Star Wars. Oh, I'm just being sorry, Hector. I'm just being silly. I type fast. I misspell all the things. I misspell my name sometimes. It's Star Wars. I just had a Sith removed. All right. So let's talk about these modes for a minute. All right. There's 4 modes in Pro Tools. All right. So I'm going to teach about them as I drag these fine clips out onto their appropriately named track. All right. So check it out. Kick. First, let's talk about slip mode, right? This is the one where you can slip it anywhere, any sample. Now you're wondering, I wonder how many samples there are. Well, check it out. Under the setup menu, you can go check your session setup, and it will tell you that this session is probably 44.1 16-bit, which is a little bit, we want to show you how to work there, but on our project, we're going to be doing a little bit something different. And we're working with WAV files, so we're all good. All right, so with my grabber tool, and it'll highlight it, if you float over, it'll say grabber in a while. Grabber, come on. All right. So you can grab the clip and move it and slip it to any place you want. Now, eventually I'm going to want it there at the beginning, but for teaching purposes, I want it here. Now, let's suppose this is a piece of dialogue, right? And this says, "Thanks, Greg." And then this next one says, "Great transition." And so I wanted to say, "Thanks, Greg, great transition." I might put it to shuffle mode and then grab my clap. And let's pretend that said great transition. Now, when I do this, notice that I'm going to put it just here, and there's going to be a yellow line that snaps right here. Watch this. And now it says, "Thanks, Greg, great transition." How do you like them apples for shuffle mode? Now, but here's another cool shuffle mode. What if I wanted to say, "Thanks, Greg, great transition," but I want to say, "Great transition, thanks, Greg." All I do is shuffle it to the other side. Watch the yellow line. Great transition, thanks, Greg. Now, or I could shuffle it to the very beginning, and you just watch the yellow line there. And now it says, great transition. Thanks, Greg. So that's a great tip, Greg. Thanks, Greg. All right, so let's move clap down to clap. Let's get rid of that clap. Did you notice that the space moved, right? And now let's shuffle that back there, all right? Now let's talk about spot mode, and let's pick a spot. Let's pick measure 3, and we need la hat. So we're going to grab the hat, and we're going to grab this. And first I need to put it in spot mode. I spilled spot remover on my dog, and he disappeared, man. That's not mine. Didn't make that joke. Nope. That's the great Stephen Wright. I was not wrong in knowing it was Stephen Wright. Hats. I grab these hats, and look, it says, "Hey, what spot do you want me to put them in?" I say, "Hey, put the start at spot 3," and it says, "Okay." Boom. And it does that. Well, what if I wanted the end at 3? Well, check it out. I could put the end at 3. Looky there, looky there, looky there, looky there. Watch. What if I wanted somewhere in the middle? Well, first I have to identify a spot in the middle. So I will say that's there in the middle. And looking under here, under clip, because it's something I want to do with a clip, I identify that as a sync point. And then when I grab it, it says, "Hey, yo, where do you want?" And I say, "Put the sync point at measure 3, yo." And by yo, I mean okay. And now it does that. So give me a capital M for modes. Give me a question mark like Brittany did. Brittany, you can start typing your question out. Give me another question mark if anybody else has a question about modes or if you are good with it. Brittany is typing the question diligently. as she asked about the most. I've got another question for you. Oh, she's never mind. She got it. She says, I missed how you put a line in the middle. Very good. So check it out. I'm going to take it away now. Everybody say, take it away, take it away, take it away now. All right, but check it out. So under clip, I remove the sync point. So you can identify a sync point or remove a sync point. Come on. So you can identify it or remove it. That was a great question. I love that question. Connor, you starting to type out? Typing it out there? Brittany says that makes sense. Connor says, how do you bring up spot menu? All right, Connor, chill out, man. All right? Anytime you click on it with your grabber, right? You just got to grab it like you want it. Click on it and look, bam, spot menu right there, Connor. Look at that. Look at that. Let's put that at spot number 1 right there, Connor. Look at that. And look, I click on this one, bada bing, bada boom, spot 1. Bam, cancel. Look at that. He says, for you listening in the archives and wondering if he responded, he did respond with all right, so while we're pausing for the causing, let's see. Give me an in queue now if there's no more questions. Give me a queue if we've got some questions. Did we talk about how the toilet paper didn't cross the road? Yeah, it got stuck in a crack. All right. Does anybody, y'all want to see what this thing sounds like? We got all this stuff happening now, right? We drug it out. We got this thing, right? We got our bread. We put our meats and our cheeses on it. Let's do this thing. Oh. I got 21 people laughing at me because I say something that's sometimes funny. When we learn about the modes and we learn about the tools and we find out how Pro Tools it works. It's cool, yo. It's cool when I fly and I fly and I fly and I'm out of here. Yeah, that. I gotta stop. Laying bars so far. Because I can't think of any right now. Holy cow, when I go to the mic and I gotta get a side out, what? I gotta get me a glass of water real fast because I got my vocal cords getting dry and I'm like going dying live. Let's just stop right now. Just stop it, stop it, stop it. All right, but that's what it sounded like. But you want to know something funny? You want to know something funny? It says here, after we dragged them out, then it says change the session tempo to 120. I don't think it needed to be changed to 120 because that sounded dang fine. You know what I'm saying? By dang fine, I mean darn fine, right? That sounded good. Oh, yeah. Right? It sounded good, right? But check it out. Check it out, party people. This is at 80. Now, I'm not expecting you to be like, well, yes, it sounded like 120 to me. How astute of you. I don't expect that, right? But check it out. Here's what I do expect. We can get this track. It's the easiest thing in Pro Tools. Check it out. Click track. You know what I'm saying? It'll click you off, man. Now listen. All right, we got a click track coming down here. Now, there's some things I like to put my up top. 3 fingers down. Now, I'm gonna show you something intermediate and advanced. Hang on, get ready, listen up, lean in close. I'm gonna shift click on a couple tracks because I'm gonna send them to this submaster, and I will teach you how to do this at a later time. But it's so I can talk over everything. So I'm gonna go send it to a submaster, and that way y'all, and by y'all I mean you guys. For my New Jersey folks and anybody, right? I can bring this down. Now listen to my click, right? 3 fingers down. Listen to my click. My click should sound like quarter notes, right? My click should sound like this, right? I'm going to mute it first, and it should sound like It should go click, 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 right? And it should click to the beat. But it doesn't. It does some like cool samba dance rhythm or something. Listen to this. It's like ooh, cha, cha, ooh, cha, ooh, cha, cha, ooh, cha, cha, ooh, cha, cha, ooh. See how it's doing that? And then it's wrong. Right? It's going, ooh, la, la, ooh, la. And we don't want that. Right? We need it to be like, doom, doom, 4 on the floor, baby. All right? So what we got to do is we've got to change this to 120 like it says up in here. 120. All right, so check it out. Party fizzles and shizzles. So if you look under the transport, and if yours doesn't look like this, make sure that you've got all of it shown and you got it expanded. You've got this guy throwing his hands up in the air, waving them like he just don't care, and that is who we call la conductor, which is just French for the conductor. And you can turn him off, and then you get manual mode. Now, a great clue that you're in manual mode is this word right here that says manual. We don't want to be in manual mode. We want to be in conductor mode, and then we can change this by hitting the plus button and saying, hey, yo, at measure 1, let's slip that bad boy up to 120, you know what I'm saying? Hit it with the arc. Bam. And now let's listen to that little click. Let's loop it one time, boy. Hear it? Now we got it happening. Now, our click is good. You knew it would be after put the rhyme in suddenly at 120, and you heard me typing out that thing that's doing like ooh la la, and not anymore. It's hitting like that on fold on the floor. You sure? How you like me now? All right, so check it out. Give me a capital CT if you're good with click track. I guess and tempo. Give me a question mark if you want to ask me a question. When's the mixtape dropping? Couple hours, and we're going to have this archive flying on the YouTube airwaves. All right. So, you know what I need to do is I need to save. I hadn't saved in a while, so we'll do that little dedication. We're going to save that, baby. You've been saved tonight. All right. Duplicate the drum clips 3 times for a total of 4 bars. All right, so check it out. I can select them by a couple of ways. You've got 2 main tools up here that you can select with the grabber, and then you got to grab it like you want it, right? And then let's just get out of it. Let's do grid mode now that I got this, right? So you can grab it, or if you get the selector, you got to click 2 times because it takes 2 to make everything go right. Get it? Grab it like you want it, or click with that because it takes 2 to make a thing go right. That's why you got to tell 90s jokes in pairs, because it takes 2 to make a thing go right. Da-dum. All right. So, I got that. Now, here's the thing that will tick some people off, because they're like, surely, if on the internet, you can be over here and be on like Facebook or something, and you can like click right here and then shift click over here, or shift click over here, or shift click over here, or shift click over here, that you could do that, right? If you're just like on Steve Kane production. I don't know how I got to Steve Kane. Oh my gosh, that's exactly where I'm sitting right. I'm feeling like I'm having video feedback. Hang on, let me look and put my arm in that position. Did anything weird happen? Okay. So that's so weird. But you think that when you shift click that, thank you very much, Greg, that things happen for you. And check this out. Look at this. Shift click down here, and look at this puppy acts like command click. What's up with that? What? So now check it out. If I shift clacked on the names though, watch that. Oh yeah. and it said duplicate 3 times for a total of 4 bars, right? Duplicate 3 times for 4 bars, all right? So all of my edit stuff is up under edit. And we'll go to duplicate right there, duplicate. It's okay to call it duplicate. It's okay to copy duplicate. It's okay to use Command D. That's my favorite right there, Command D. It's like a rap name. Command D, look at this. Command pop, 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 pop. Now I got 4 bars. Ooh, I got 4 bars. They're going far, but not much more. Oh, yeah. All right. So, I'm going to get into slip, and I did slip and spot and shuffle, and we haven't really talked much about grid mode. So we should actually probably talk a little bit about grid mode, because I don't think that we did. I think I kind of skipped over that. So Command D for like duplicate, like he did what? He duplicated it, Command D. All right, so grid is a little bit crazy. I like to talk about the grid mode like this, man, because you move around the grid, man. We set up our grid into 120, man. I take my time, I put it like this, man. Why did it move over here, man? Because I got the bar grid on there right now. I put the different shades of grid. Right now, I got the half another grid. It moves by half of the bar, right? I put the full grid on there. It moves by the full bar. Right now, check it out, man. It kind of gets crazy because you could slip it off of the grid now, right? That you slip off the grid, you're like, whoopsie, that's off because I like my, zone. Right, and we got to have it to do the kick drum off of the envelope, closer like the B3, man, right? And you take it that off like that. But I don't want to lose that thing. So check it out. I put it like a relative grid, man, and it moves like relative to that grid. So I don't move to that grid. I move relative to that grid. I move by the grid, man. Everybody say relative move by the grid, man. It never lands right on there. So I keep my groove like this, man. Right, and now, so now we would take it and you say, what if I don't want to move by the grid because that is a mistake and I want to fix it, I want to put it on, and you say, Bob Marley don't make mistakes, man. And now you got absolute, and that goes much better with orange juice. And now check it out. Now you move to the grid. See, now to the grid, to the grid, to the grid. Okay, so now Johnny's got a question. I want Brittany to give me a follow-up. Hold it, no, was it Brittany? No, it was Sonata. Sonata, give me a follow-up question if for our grid modes. Johnny is typing something out. Garrett is playing the catcher tonight. He caught my screwdriver joke. Nice, thank you very much. John says, what is the difference between the absolute and the relative grid, man? Because check it out, man. Look at this, John, man. I'm in the absolute grid right now. It absolutely moves to the grid. Tell me the letter T for to the grid, right? It moves to the grid, right? Now check it out. It moves off of the grid, but now it moves back to the grid, right? But now check this out, my friend John. Now, John, check this out. You like to be off the grid when this happens, right? And you go a relative. Now, give me a B for by the grid because now it moves by the grid, not to the grid. It moves in the same amount as the grid. It is moving 1 full bar. It's moving from 6-3 back to 5-3 back to 4-3. By the grid, man. All right, so Let's do that. Sonata says, so does off the grid mean like off beat and on the grid mean like on a beat in a way? Yeah, Sonata, totally. So check it out. So think about, all right, first off, tell me something that you're good at doing that does not involve music, something that you've done for a while. I don't care if it's sewing or coloring or whatever, right? Tell me something that you've done for a while that I can talk about that you know something about. I'll give you a minute to think about it while I look at the other questions. And then, so I slip it and then go to Shay. I only slipped it so you would see what relative did, because if I did not slip it off of the grid, you would not have seen that relative kept the off gridness, if you will. Troy says, so basically it means that when it's off the grid, it is equal to increments, and when you move it. Shay says, okay. So I'm thinking that writing poetry and whatnot, like math. So Sonata, perfectly. When you're writing, right? Do you let's take for granted that you indent the first line of your paragraphs. I know that some people don't, and some people just skip a space and they start justified. Some people indent their first line, right? So let's pretend that absolute grid would ruin your indentation, and it would move your indent all the way back over and justify it over to the left. But relative grid, when you did that and you copied it over and moved it over, it would keep your indentation however you set it. Ha ha! Woohoo! We just did Pro Tools to writing and typewriters. All right. See, I love that because, then if I can try to make it something that you know, then it makes it so much easier. Troy says, so basically it means when it's off the grid, it is equal in increments. Hang on, Troy. Equal in increments when you move it. Yes. So, Troy, when I set my grid amount over here, I am moving it exactly by that amount. Whether I am relative and it's going to stay off the exact grid, it will still move a quarter note, but it'll be off a little bit, or it will fix it to the quarter note if I have on absolute. So let's say this. Here's a rule of thumb. If somebody says the drums are off and you need to fix them, you're probably going to want to use absolute grid. If somebody says the drums are just groovy, then use relative grid, because then it will make everything stay the same. Because, dude, I'm serious, Bob Marley's drummer, one of Bob Marley's old drummers, lives here in Central Florida and plays with me, right? And I would never quantize him, right? But when I play, I know what I want, but I'm not an awesome drum player, so I would quantize myself to the absolute grid. But because Terry is a professional drummer, I would use probably a relative grid for him. John says, do you right-click for the two grid options or click in the right-hand corner? I'm clicking in the right-hand corner there, John. And then, let's see. Jeffrey says, discuss things in airplanes. So if you're at 1,200 feet and our grid is at 1,000, in relative grid, you're going to go to 2,200 and 3,200. But in absolute, if you were at 1,200, you'd go straight to 2,000 and then to 3,000 and then to, or whatever. How's that for you, Jeffrey? That's a big 10-4. Shortcut for looping a region. Don't know. Actually, the letter or the number 4 will put it in loop playback for you. But I forgot loop region. All right, so see how it's because it's relative. So I'm going to go back to absolute. So it goes right back here to the grid. All right, so let's save that. So, all right, so let's go one more round. Give me an NQ if you've got no more questions. Give me another question mark if you've got a follow-up or something else. and we'll get going. See, this is why I love being in a live class. And by the way, 24 people, holy cow. 32 is my record, so I'm hoping maybe next week we can get my record up a little bit higher and beat my all-time score of 32 people in the live room. But 24 people, I am ecstatic for you, and for me as well. All right, very good. So we got no questions. Moving on. I was doing some reading. I was really astonished. Did y'all know that dogs really don't read MRIs, but CAT scan? Differences of dogs and cats. All right, so we duplicated. All right, so now we're going to be in grid mode because now that we've got the tempo set, now grid mode will work. So we're going to go to a resolution of 16th note. We're duplicate the clap at 4-2 7 times. All right, so check it out. Command tab over. So we're going to make sure we're in grid mode. We're going to make sure that we are in a 16th note grid. And it said the clap located at 4-2. Now I could use the ruler, but why? Right? I mean, just be exact, right? It's like IFR, dude. Be exact. Go. So now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now you can zoom in using this zoom tool. You can do that if you want. And then you go down to the clap track. That's fine. And now you want to select with the grid, and you want to select this. So you select all of it right there. Boom. Right? Now if you select all of this, are you going to be able to repeat it 7 times before this one? I doubt it, right? 1, 2, right? So maybe we only grab that. And it said duplicate it 7 times. So, right, who remembers the quick key? What? Quick key? What? Command D, that's right. Everybody count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. Let's listen to our clap now. Oh, we duped our clap. Yeah, we did our clap. Clippity clap. Let's see it now. What? Let's hear that again. Oh, listen again and again, my friend. We duped our clap. We clapped it good. We 7 times it. Hear it? Like it. Command S. All right. So now we finished. Oh, what? Look, we're halfway there. I promise. This next half hour, we're gonna fine. We'll be fine. We jumped down some rabbit holes, didn't we? Oh, no, we said we weren't going to jump down rabbit holes. We were going to jump down through teaching tunnels. Not bad. I mean, Taylor Swift couldn't do that, but you know what I'm saying. Grid 7, grid letters 16 at 1, 2, and paste it at 1, 2, 480. What? We're gonna take that boom pop, and we're gonna tune it boom pop pop. All right, so go to 1, 2. 1, 2. We're gonna take clap right there. All right, so let me show you another zoom tool real quick. See that little that one called keyboard focus. The little A to Z button is called keyboard focus, and then I can use the T and the R and the T key to zoom real tight, and it always zooms around where you are. So 1, 2, I'm going to check it out here. So copy, right? You got edit, right? Command copy, right? Oh, look at this. X, C, and V, just like the real internet stuff, right? So copy it. And by the way, I wouldn't even had to hit command because of my special little keyboard focus. And watch this. It said paste it at 1, 2, 480. 480, bat, and watch this. I'm just going to hit V. I mean, you can't see my finger, but trust me. No command V, just regular V. Bam. And now look. Woo! Did you hear that? By the way, I'm hitting the space bar to start and stop. I'm hitting return to rewind. We may be if there is no clamp at this location, you missed step 3 improperly. Greg says, that's all it is work. I thought it was command the plus brackets and the minus brackets and all the bracket stuff. Oh, Greg. You know what? What I tell you makes Pro Tools hard. Remember what I said? And Greg is here to prove it right now. Y'all remember what I said makes Pro Tools hard? Because it's like, and the same reason why I want you to be scarecrows. Right? There's 3 or 4 or 18 million different ways to do the same thing. And Greg is absolutely right. You can use command and brackets to zoom. You can RT to zoom. You can use the zoom tool. You even got dedicated zoom buttons, for crying out loud. It's all about, as Shay said, Shay to the Shay said, it's all about the user and the abuser. You gotta abuse Pro Tools. You gotta make it your, you know what I'm saying? Use it your way. I'm kidding. You gotta make it quick. Nobody ever did this. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Show me how you add a track like this, dude. And then if I want it to be a MIDI track, I go like this. Nobody ever did that. They're like, show me how many track, and they're like, oh, dude, that's cool. Oh, dude, that's real. Right? They're all just like, quick keys are what makes you cool, bro. All right, so we got the clap. Let's see what else we got to do. In grid mode with the resolution of 16 notes. All right, cool. Let's do it. So check it out. Why screw around? All right, so let's turn this into confessional real quick. All right, give me a capital M for me or a NM for not me. If you would quickly, if I told you to go grab the clap at 3-2, your instinct would be to go grab the mouse and grab it like that, right? Instead of going and typing up here, because I want to change that, right? And it's okay. It's okay, right? It's okay. This is a learning environment. I'm so glad that I got so many people saying, yes, I would do that, Steve. You've busted me. You've cold busted my rhyming apparatus here. Right? So here's what I want you to do. When somebody says, because in musical terms, man, they're gonna say, yeah, let's take it from bar 15 or whatever, measure 3, right? So you can go right to here and start using these as exact addresses, right? Now check it out. Because I know the 16th note is 240 ticks long, check this out. I could even type in my selection beforehand. Would you look at that? And copy with a C and come over here to the 4/8 to the you know what? And then hit V. What? Did I just make an edit without touching the stinking mouse at all? What? So, because we know the note values, they're telling us there. So if I know I want to select a 16th note, I just select a 16th note. Let's listen. Oh, there it is. How you like me now? I am popping my collar, y'all. I'm feeling like, oh, what? I just made an edit without touching the mouse. Bam, pop my collar. All right, come on, give me a PC if you think that is pop a collar worthy. Come on. I mean, in the 90s it was, right? Isn't that when we popped collars was in the 90s or something? That was just like 10 years ago, right? Oh, jeez. You know what you call a cow with 2 legs? Lean beef. You know what you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef, yeah. But do you know what you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter. It's not gonna come to you. Number 8 says, with a grid resolution of 16 notes, we got that nice. Put at kick at 1 2 480 and 1 4. Or it says delete the kick at 1 2 480 and 1 4 2 12. All right, cool. 1 2 480, 1 2, and then sideways arrow 4 to the 8 to the you know to hate. Bam. TTT. Go up to the kick. Bam. Now, so this one, if you just want to like kind of guess, and it's like, all right, well I can go all the way right here, or I can go all the way right here. Maybe you want to kick all that, boom, right to 1, 3. Maybe you just want to go right there to that one. Right? But I still got little squigglies after that. So maybe you try the 3 to the 2, 4, 0. You know. Oh, come on. 3. Hold it. No. Measure 1, beat 2. But we said we need to go to beat 3, but then to the tick 240. That looks good. Does that look good, everybody? Yeah. All right, check it out. Bam. Delete. All right, and then it also said delete the kick at 1, 2, and then at 1, 4, 240. 1, 2, 1, 4, 240. 240. Dang it. 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 4D. Finally. All right. So just that one. All right, cool. We can make that one. Look at that length. 240 ticks. Bam. Just delete. Bam. Nice. See what it sounds like. Oh, yeah. Let's listen one more time. I love that. Whew, save. All right. So we got that. Be sure to delete the kick. And then grid mode, resolution set to 3:1, duplicate it 14 times. The hat, 14 times. All right, cool. So go to measure 3. All right, enter. Look at the clap. Now, hold it, wait a minute. They said the hat, sorry, not the clap. Duh. Now, I'm a little bit worried with that space. I need to figure out if that is groove or a mistake. So I'm going to go to slip mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize this thing called tab to transient. So I'm going to hold down, I'm just going to hit tab, and it's going to move it right to that transient. And it totally missed it, actually. It totally missed it. Alright, well, that's kind of funny. So that's about 10 ticks off, and if we changed our ruler, it's only about 5 milliseconds. No big deal. I'm not going to worry with it. Not going to worry with it. It's not that big. Alright, so they said in a 16th note grid. Well, you can select it if you want to with your mouse in your old grid mode and everything, and if your grids aren't showing up, that's that button right there. Or you can, come on. Or, it's 240 ticks. And they want it to duplicate 7 times, 14 times. What? I'm going to get carpal tunnel syndrome by the time I do it 14 times. Come on. But check it out. Let me tell you this joke. Pete and Repeat lived under the edit menu. Pete got a job and left. Who was left? Okay, Pete and Repeat lived under the edit menu. Pete got a job. Who's left? Okay, so Repeat is the same thing as duplicate, except you get to type in 14 times. You don't have to get carpal tunnel syndrome. Well, look at that. What? Boy. Would you look at that? Let's hit save. Holy moly, man. That's crazy, man. Did you know why the chicken crossed the playground? Shay's like, look at all those chickens. To get to the other slide. All right. All right. We're almost there. You know what? I'm tired of that click. I'm about tired of that thing. Totally. That is like totally cool. All right. So, this is the whole reason that you were here, right? I mean, like if I was gonna wait for number 10, you know what I'm saying? By the way, Miss DR are your initials. I want you to phonetically send me your name so I don't mispronounce it. Because I want to make sure I don't mispronounce it. And do it quick because time's going to run out before too long. So, and I didn't want to butcher it too bad. First trying, so that's why I went. So I go through all that, and they say, "Call me Jamie." Because I was like, all right, it's like, it's like it's either Demalia or Jamie, one or the other, and it was like Jamie. So totally Jamie. All right. So Jamie, got a question for you. Have you ever liked the kind of what do you call those round things? You can play both sides. They're usually black. A lot of the old ones are black, but now they're making different colors. Records, right? You ever seen a record? Haha. I love records. You can play them on both sides. I love it, love it, love it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna emulate a little record stop right here. A record. Right? So, because everybody's like, I hate digital, I love record. Well, baby, you can do both right here. Check it out. Look at this. We're going to go, it said select the last measure, 4-1 through 4-5 on all of them, right? So we can just type it in here, 4, return, 5, return, right? Shift click on your tracks, right? Chicka pow wow, chicka boom boom, right? All right, so it says audio suite. It says time shift, pitch shift, verify. And I'm going to hit slow down and render. Watch this. Oh, got to make sure you're using the playlist. Rendering, and look, it named it verify, boom, boom. And now we are about to hear it just totally awesomely. Oh, it's gonna be so good, oh my gosh, you gotta hear it. Hear it again. Jamie Mayella. I feel like Mayella should be quicker together. Jamie Mayella. Is that it? Aww. Yeah. Come on. Oh, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna repeat 3 clicks, right? Look, 1 click to put it there, 2 clicks for the clip, and 3 clicks for the whole track. And now we're in loop playback. Oh, let's have a party. The kids are dancing to the beat. Raise your hand, clap your hands to that beat. We're having our what up? We'll start over again. That's right, my friend. Woo. All right. Having too much fun here. We're supposed to be in school, and we're not supposed to be having fun in school. All right. Um, hey, do you ask your kids if they know how to stop moles from digging in gardens? You hide all their shovels. All right. So now you're probably wondering, how do I turn this in so I can get proper credit? All right. So do a save copy in. Now I want you to remember this because you're gonna do this in the real world too. Save a backup copy in. So this is anytime you're looking to save a backup copy, you're gonna do this. Save a copy in. And now the big thing you gotta remember is hit the audio files. Now I like to teach these stories, and I'm gonna tell you why I never forget this. Because back when I was interning, it was in the 1900s. I was interning back in the 1900s, back in Nashville, Tennessee. All right, so check it out. When I was working, right, I remember Jewel was in the studio. She was in town for one night. She booked out 2 studios. Guess who had to drive tapes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth? She's working on one in one studio. I drive the other set back to the other one. Then I go pick her up, take her over there, take the other tape. So it was very easy for me to know, it's like, do I have the tape with me? Because they were freaking heavy, right? This one is just a little click of the button that will cost you a big, fat zero. And I should have said it with a big old delay, but I couldn't. So make sure you hit the audio files, right? And by the way, I never washed my car again after Jewel rode in it. I never vacuumed that seat again. I'm kidding. That would have been gross. But anyway, hit audio files. Hit the AUK button. Bam! It's going to say, hey, yo, where do you want to... If you want to screw this up, just go, whatever. But usually just put it on the desktop. That's fine. Take the words copy of off of that because that'll cost you 10 points right there. And I'm going to take that word C off of there too. So we're going to put it right here on our desktop. Hit Save. Bam! And it's going to go do all of that. Now, what you're going to notice over on La Desktop, which is just French for the desktop, is that it copied over the latest session folder and the audio files, even with the verifies. So that's what we're wanting to send. So just click, make sure it's in there. It's named nicely. Right click on it and compress that into a zip file. Nami. Now, that zip file is what you're going to turn in before the deadline. And we got to talk about those deadlines for a minute because I don't know if I have updated all of the sections yet. I don't know if all of the sections have been updated. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute before the due date. So make sure you copy that, check that audio files button. All right. So if you don't turn in audio files with it, you are going to get a 0. That's pretty easy, right? So make sure you do a save as. Make sure you name it correctly. Notice copy of isn't on here. Don't be the second, my second 14-year-old. Like, well, you said first name, last name. All right. We imported our files. We changed our tempo. We duplicated our bars. Now, this is all or nothing, right? All that work we did on the claps, all or nothing, 10 points. Why? Because in the studio, you either do the work right or like, well, half of the song I did right. Right? So make sure you do all those claps right. Make sure you do all the kick edits correctly. You get 10 points for that. 10 points for your duplication of the hats using the verify plugin, and then lastly doing a save copy in. Now remember, late assignments will not be accepted. However, we have a heart. We understand we have a hurricane, so we have changed the due date. Let's go talk about that real quick. Let's see what it says online right now. So right now it says that it is due on September 9th, which is in 4 days, and that is not correct. So all of this week 1 is going to be due on September. Let's just get the calendar out, shall we? I just love searching for that stuff like that. So with my calendar, it will not be due on 9. We're going to have them due on the 12th. Okay? So that's going to give you a week to do what I showed you tonight and what I'm going to show you tomorrow night. And then that will be given there. Now, it is going to be a little double time. Yes, I understand that. So you might want to get busy this weekend, because then we're going to have lecture on the 9th and the 10th. And then that's going to be due there on the 15th. So the hurricane did kind of squish our days a little bit, but it's kind of like the regular, things that happens with a big holiday and that kind of thing. So with that being said, Greg says, just confirming, how many audio files should be in the audio files folder? Thank you, Greg. That was a great question. And I would say that would be 6, my friend. 6 audio files. John says that it's due on the 12th. And I'm going to take your word for that, John. September, you know what? Yep, 7 plus 5 is 12. So, yep, the 12th. So, I'm going to take a last round of questions. Give me an NQ if you've got no other questions about this assignment. Everything made sense tonight. You can give me an NQ, you can give me an MS. Now, remember, I am going to stick around after class to answer all the questions. I do want to remind everybody that is listening in the archive to please, if something wasn't making sense this first time you watched it, reach out to your teacher. Let them know about what hour, minute, or second that you were watching that you got confused, and they will be surely to help you out. I want to thank Ashley, Blake, Brittany, Connor, Jamie, Garrett, Greg, Haley, Hector, Jeffrey, Jeremy, John, Josh, Luis, Markeisha, Michael, Omar, Randy, Shay, Sherwin, Sonata, and Troy. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as we get ready to roll with the remix project, as we'll do that every week for our lecture too. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. I will see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. My name's Steve Kane, and as always, peace out.